Hi, Monica Merlo. And here today, I'm going to discuss what I hear all the time that so many of you and are stressed out, going through big changes, don't know how to deal with it, and don't have the coping tools to help you out. And here I'm going to share with you my mindful practice or mindfulness meditation um, philosophy with to help you navigate through this fast-pacing world that we're in. There's so much going on. Everything is moving way more than we are used to and trying to adapt to. And that's okay. However, if you are struggling with wanting to figure out how you need to make changes that are just not good for you, that are just, you know that you're not happy, you know that you're not living the life that you really want, and you know it, you're listening, you hear yourself all the time. um, and to, you got to be honest with yourself, like, in order to in order to feel better, in order to have that inner peace, you have to make the change. You need to be proactive. And I can say that 5 years ago, I was just reflecting back, but 5 years ago, when I decided to leave my marriage of 30 years, which I really obviously contemplated for a long time, that I had to do it. I had to move out, and I changed everything. I changed my whole lifestyle, and it was a progression of practices, my practices that I have implemented, my spiritual practice, of course, my yoga, mindfulness, and breath work and meditation. And I've been just like massaging like the whole um, process of within myself. And I've been working on this for a long time. However, what I've noticed with my clients, which has just been really why I'm reaching out, and said this is something that I can discuss with you because it's the feedback that I get with my clients, which I've dealt with so many. What I try to show them is how you can adapt quickly into coming into a moment of pause and just connecting with yourself. But how do you do that, right? How do you find the tools, or how do you learn how to do this? So I wanted to share how you can create the foundation of inner peace. And I would truly like, this will be so great if you, once we go through all of the steps, that if you can, you know, send me some comments, tell me like what you're going through and what it is that you're looking for, and, or you've tried different styles of mindfulness or breath work and they're still not working, or maybe you like the way I approach things, and I have meditations on my channel. I have another one coming up that will be beginner's mind, which is really a great way of the mindfulness practice. And I wanted to share with you 6 Buddhist teachings that create that foundation of inner peace. So the first one that we start off with, the Buddhist teaching, is focus on the present moment. So if we're focusing on the past, we just hang on to things. We're just attached to the past. And it's like, it doesn't leave us. It doesn't leave you. You're just, you can't shake it off. So, and then if you're worried about the future, well, then you're always there. So the only way that you could start to regulate your nervous system and to feel a little bit more of that peace, you have to be here and now. But how do you do that? How do you go into the here and now? Well, you take a moment and you pause, or you try little exercises. So let's say if it is difficult for, I hear all the time, Monica, I can't settle my mind, I can't meditate. um, I've never been able to meditate. I've never been able to, calm myself down. The only way I can do it is if like I do aggressive exercising or being very active in different ways. And then eventually I can relax. Or the other thing too, I want to really say is that in order to go into the present moment, we can't numb ourselves because then we're not being present, right? So if we're numbing ourselves with anything, whether it's substances or activities that when you're numbing yourself, and then your brain starts to just turn off. What happens is you're just pushing down all the stuff that's maybe triggering you and bothering you. And so that's not a solution. And I'm only saying that because I know I tried it for many, many years. And I had a great practice, of course, in my yoga practice, and I would do some meditation. But what I realized is I wasn't being consistent enough, and I wasn't being honest enough with myself. Uh, that's the truth. That's that I was scared. I was scared to sit with myself. So that's the first thing to do. So the first thing is to be in the present moment. So how do we do that? Well, just even right now, you're watching this, maybe you really focus. You just pay attention to what I'm doing, what I'm wearing, the sounds you hear. I like to take a moment when I go for a walk. So I did that a lot, and I do it all the time now. But even when I was trying to learn to be more present, nature, of course, was easier for me. So we all have something. Some people actually like to clean, and they find that really relaxing. So let's say, because nature is great, nature, you go out. So take your time. If you hear the birds, like literally hear the birds, the wind blowing, the the temperature of the air. So use all your senses. So that's what brings you in the present moment, is using all your senses. So you start to awaken yourself. Now, if you feel numb, you're going to feel less of your senses. So this is a decision that you have to make for yourself. Are you willing to do the work to change? Are you willing to do it? It isn't, yes, it's not easy. So the first thing is you decide, I'm willing to be present for a moment. When I become present, then I start to notice things, and then things start to slow down. So that is the first step. Now, the second one is stop fighting for what you can't control. So, okay, I'll just take a moment on that one, because I have like controls. Don't we all have some control issues in some area? But I'm getting better at it, or at least I am aware of my control issues. So we're trying to force something to happen. We want to manipulate so that we feel calmer, that we feel better. So if we're fighting to control things and until it's just right, it's our way, it doesn't work like that. Life just doesn't work like that. And then what happens? You come up against frustrations, resistance, and you get agitated and you get angry and all this stuff comes up and fire comes up and so or whatever you blow out. So the thing is, you let go of what's out of your hands. Let go with what's out of your hands. Well, let me give you an example. I cannot control somebody else's behavior, but I can make a decision for myself. So for me, if someone is not being kind to me, or there's a behavior that's toxic, I can decide that I'm not going to be around that. I can decide. And that takes a little time. Because it depends on our situation. Walking away from something that we just know we can't control, making up excuses for things that are not going right in our life, and taking it all in, just always taking the backstage of life, putting yourself last. So then if you decide what you can control is yourself, what you can control is taking yourself out of it. And I always say I take a little pause. And then what do? I go for a walk, I get some fresh air, and then I go back into step one, right? Go back into step one, being present. So stop fighting for what you can't control. Now, the third one is simplicity is the key to happiness and peace. Well, I don't know about you, but there's the seasons of life, and I get it. Maybe this generation is changing a little bit, but you know what? We all strive to be better, learn more, do things, achieve things. And earlier in life, so coming into midlife, things start changing. But when you're younger, of course, you're looking for a certain career, you're looking for your stability, a home, maybe a family. You want to accumulate things because sort of like this is what we've been told to do. And I lived through all of that, and I'm grateful for all of it, until it was controlling me. So we're going back to that control, right? So it started controlling me, and it was taking over my life. And I was trying to keep up with everything. And it was too much. I could not handle it anymore. So I noticed at age of 40, I was really unhappy because I was trying to keep up this certain type of lifestyle with all the things that we had, and a certain home I lived in, and everything. And it just wasn't sustainable. Is it sustainable for you? Like, it doesn't matter if you have or you don't have, but what I could say is when I moved out, I started from ground zero. Scariest thing, right? Scary. I understand if you're not ready for it, you don't have to do it. But let's say if you are thinking of making a big change in your life, and you're in 40s, you start thinking about it. Well, at 50, in my early 50s, that's when I made big move. I started from the beginning. I had some work experience in my field. I mean, I had a lot that I knew, but to building a business, that was a different thing. In the wellness field, I had older children, but still I support one of my kids. And I bought, like, everything was new. I built a new home, a space to live. Slowly, I got things that I needed. But what I realized was I wanted to keep things less is more. I really did. And I wanted to start fresh. And to this day, I ask myself, I'm still like cleansing and detoxing things, because I'm trying to simplify my life. So, how do you do that? So, uh, I wanted to just, okay, so let's say, for example, letting go of clutter and find clarity. So, when you let go clutter, you find clarity. So, what does that mean? Well, living environment is really important. Um, Cleaning up our life, like everything, I wanted to make sure that everything that I did was straightened up, like up and straight or whatever. I wanted to put my head on the pillow and just say, I did good today, Monica. You did good, Um, Drama, any kind of drama in my life, send love to the people that, you love them, but maybe we're not aligned anymore, anything that I noticed that felt I felt uncomfortable or gave me a lot of stress, I had to ask myself, am I contributing to that stress? Am I still in the same situation, still in the same environment? That was a question. These were questions that I had to ask myself. And am I still putting myself in those situations? So even when I moved out, it took time to create that loving space for myself, because we still have close members, that in relationships, and even in work, everything starts to shift. So how do you start to declutter what you do not need? And you're going to start to notice you'll feel so much lighter. You'll feel you can breathe, and I felt that I was able to say, like, once I started knowing what that felt like, then I could, to this day now, I can say, no, I don't want to do this. This is not good for me. And I just lead from that. But I had to find out if I could be true to myself and simplify my life. And, like, I don't use a car anymore. I mean, if I need one, but all these like responsibilities, I changed it for now, who knows, things might change. And that's the next thing that I want to bring up is your thoughts come and go. So this was back to what I was saying. So this is the fourth Buddhist principle. So your thoughts come and go. So you know how I said that a lot of people say that they have trouble relaxing or trying to meditate. If you take a moment and you can notice your thoughts. So when we come into a present moment, then we have time to slow down. Then we have time to observe ourselves. So you start to observe yourself and you start to notice. So you're not going to change right away your thought patterns. You're going to start to notice them. You start to notice them, and that's kind of cool. And not kind of the cool part is that, wow, I can see myself doing what I do. And changing our behaviors, the way we react, takes time. But we become less reactive when we become calmer and we feel more peace. So little by little, you start to practice being in the present moment, practice noticing. And I wanted to say that your thoughts are like clouds, and they're temporary and fleeting. So let's say there's something that agitates you and you get startled. We'll use an example. You're driving your car. Some people don't do well driving their car and they have road rage, and somebody cuts you off and you get agitated. Okay, notice your agitation, acknowledge it, and then just say, you know what, maybe that other person, I always just go, you know what, that person is going through something. It's not an excuse for the way they're driving, but we don't know what they're going through. And what I practiced that part was easy for me, but I know it's not easy for a lot of people when we use an example for driving, is I slowed down a little bit, and I allowed like that space. Imagine you're driving and allowing that space around you to let them do them, and I did myself. So it's like a couple of minutes will not make a difference. I don't have to be rushing as much. And it doesn't bother me when someone does something. Most of the time, I'm not perfect, that's for sure. But I can say that, you know what, they're going through something and it's not my thing. And then that thought, that agitation, that is just a fleeting moment. So this is another thing that you can know, that it doesn't last forever. Nothing lasts forever. The next one, the fifth principle, is practice mindfulness, anchor yourself in the breath. So this is my favorite topic, anchoring yourself in the breath. So basically, we do things in stages. So let's say you are highly agitated or not feeling good, or something just happened, you got triggered. So the first thing is you do is you look at your environment, right? You look at your environment, you look around you. Just kind of just helps you come into that present moment. Then you just notice what's happening, and you just acknowledge that too. All of this we do through different steps like non-judgment. And then once you become present of what's happening, then you can start to acknowledge your breath and just notice your breathing. So maybe at first your breathing is fast or tight, or you feel it up here, or you feel in your throat. And then you can just just noticing it. And then maybe you can slightly breathe through the nose and longer out of the mouth. Start to notice your breathing, that in breath. Breathing in through the nose and relaxing into the belly. Keep that going. Might take 10 times to do the breath. And if you're still not settling, go back to your environment, look around, connect to something that is soothing, step away from a situation. And if you need, go into like the bathroom and just sit quietly. Find a place that you can quiet yourself, and you can place your hands on your heart and your belly and just feel that breath, right? Just breathing in, filling up, and then you exhale out and you let go. So you breathe in the peace, and you breathe out the stress. So let's do that together. You breathe in the peace and you breathe out the stress. And if you have to sigh it out at first. Breathe in the peace and exhale out. Yeah, that's right. The last thing is trust in permanence. Your struggles will pass. They pass. I know for a fact. I know like that I look back. So that's the only time I'd say look back and reflect. Reflecting is good. And notice that nothing lasts forever. Everything is impermanent. So the Buddhist teaching is the trust in impermanence. So when you trust in that, you know that, let's say that there's something that's really challenging you and it's really tough. It will pass. When someone does something to you, I had a client that their partner took everything away from them, financially took everything away from them, and that client didn't know at first what to do. And I just kept on saying, you know what, do the next right thing for yourself, focus on yourself, and let's go through these steps. So I helped her along with um, all the principles that we were just talking about, and let that your partner, your ex, do what he always does, but you take care of yourself, and you'll see this is going to pass. And then sure enough, she came to me after, and she was like, you know what, it within a few days, I felt better. Even just talking with you, Monica, I felt better. Sometimes that's another thing that we just do. Talk to someone who just someone that you trust, and just say, I just need you to listen. That's what I'll say to my friends. I'll just say, just give me a moment. Can I just vent for a bit, just for a moment? And then that's it. It's done. Like venting for a moment is fine. So nothing lasts forever, even your challenges, right? Nothing lasts forever, even your challenges. So even the good things don't last forever. Everything is impermanent. It just keeps on flowing and passing by. And that we have to be aware of that too. So that causes people anxiety as well. So let's say something good is really happening and you want to hold on to that too. Well, that is attachment. So that will be another discussion that we'll talk about. But for today, I really just wanted to go into creating that foundation of inner peace. I will link you to the video that I'll be doing for Beginner's Mind on how you sort of leading up into this, how we start into a meditation. And those are that type of meditation. Beginner's Mind is wonderful when you just need to regroup yourself and center yourself. And every time you do that, and if you keep them short, what you're doing is you're building your foundation. And when you start to build that foundation, all of a sudden you start to notice that you can tap into your inner peace a lot faster than you could maybe a year ago, let's say, or a few weeks ago. It depends how much you're practicing. So I hope this was really helpful. And I would really appreciate if you interact, give me some comments, subscribe, so that I can reach out to get some more feedback, because this really helps me as well to create the program that I do and I put out there. And don't be shy. Don't be shy. And check out my meditation and some of the other posts that I've done. And I wish you many blessings. And thank you so much for taking this time to listen to these principles. And I hope they help you.